Pulkovo Airport is an international airport serving Saint Petersburg, Russia. It consists of one terminal, Terminal 1, which is located 23 kilometers south of the city center. The airport serves as a hub for Rossiya Airlines, and as focus city for Nordavia. Pulkovo International Airport is responsible for serving the citizens of Saint Petersburg, as well as the Leningrad Oblast, a total of 6,120,000 people. Description: Pulkovo Airport was officially opened on June 24, 1932, as a state-owned domestic airport. In 2013, 12,854,366 passengers traveled through Pulkovo Airport, making it the third busiest airport in Russia and post-Soviet states. Pulkovo had a passenger traffic rate of 9,874,941 as of September 1, 2014. The airport holds the title of being one of the largest airports in Russia and Eastern Europe. History = 1931–1986 In January 1931, construction of an aerodrome near St. Petersburg commenced and was completed on June 24, 1932, with the first aircraft arriving at 17:31 that day, after a 2.5-hour flight from Moscow carrying passengers and mail. This aerodrome was at first named Rossiya Airport, the name coming from the nearby Rossiya train station. Soon after, the airport opened regular flights to Petrozavodsk, Pudozh, Arkhangelsk, and Murmansk. In 1936, a foundation for a new terminal was laid out. Leningrad's airport was also provided with new G2s and PS-84s. In 1941, a new completely commercial passenger route between Moscow and Leningrad was opened. Before it was a mixed passenger-mail route. Construction of the new terminal thrived between 1937 to 1941. The architects of the new three-story terminal were Alexander Ivanovich Jagello and N.E. Lancer. Construction was abruptly put on hold in July 1941, 1 month after Nazi Germany's invasion of the USSR on June 22, 1941. The airport was the frontline in the Nazi siege of Leningrad. There were no flights between 1941 to 1944. The nearby Pulkovo Hills were occupied by the Nazis and were used by the long-range artillery for daily bombardments of Leningrad. The airport was cleared of the Nazis in January 1944, and resumed cargo and mail flights after the runways were repaired in 1945. In February 1948, after the damage was completely repaired, the airport resumed scheduled passenger flights. In 1949, there were scheduled flights to 15 major cities of the USSR, and 15 more short-range flights within the northwestern Russia. In 1949, Rossiya Airport recorded a passenger traffic rate of 6,305, 333 tons of mail, and 708 tons of cargo. In 1951, the construction of the new terminal was complete. In the mid-1950s, the new extended runway was completed, allowing to handle larger aircraft such as Ilyushin 18 and Tupolev 104. In that same time period, the exploitation of jet engine planes began in Rossiya Airport. On March 15, 1959, the USSR 42419-104 was the first commercial jet airplane to take off from the Rossiya Airport. In the early 1960s, long-distance airplanes such as the An-24 and Yak-40 began to appear in the airport. Flights to Vladivostok began to emerge in the flight lists. ICAO Category 1 standards were implemented in 1965, making way for international operations. By the late 1960s, over 60 airlines had flights to and from St. Petersburg's airport. On February 8, 1971, Rossiya was awarded the Order of the October Revolution. The airport was renamed to Pulkovo Airport on April 24, 1973. In May 1973, the new Pulkovo 1 terminal was opened. The famous 5-cup Pulkovo 1 was designed by Alexander Zyk. The 5 cups on top were put intentionally to give the terminal a more spacious feeling, as well as to allow more natural sunlight to pass through. This terminal is regarded as a masterpiece of Soviet postmodern architecture. Pulkovo 1 was a domestic-only terminal. Domestic air traffic increased approximately 45% every decade between the 1970 to 1990. The old pre-war building of the airport was renamed to Pulkovo II and the terminal was exploited for international flights only. On April 11, 1986, the new departure and arrival zones for the international terminal were completed, doubling the passenger traffic rate capacity of Pulkovo I. 1986-2007 In 1990 Pulkovo Airport reached its passenger traffic rate peak of over 10 million passengers. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union the number of passengers declined. In 2005 Pulkovo Airport gained independence as it separated from the Pulkovo Aviation Enterprise. Also in 2005 Rossiya declares that Pulkovo Airport is to have an open tender on an investment project of the new terminal construction. This allowed it to sell shares and begin working on investment bidding projects. In 2006 Pulkovo Airport served just over 5 million passengers, only 50% of the number from 1990. 2007 present In 2007, the winner was announced. Grimshaw Architects wins the tender. In 2009 the Saint Petersburg Transportation Ministry requests that an operating company for Pulkovo Airport be created. NCG, a consortium, is set up by Russian VTB Capital Bank, International Fraport AG Company and Greek Kopalouzos Group. On April 29, 2010, NCG wins the tender for a 30-year operating lease over Pulkovo Airport. On November 24, 2010, Vladimir Putin attends the construction ceremony and on that same day construction of the new 150,000 m² Terminal 1. Passenger statistics. Infrastructure. Pulkovo II Pulkovo II is approximately 25,000 m². The terminal used to serve as the international departures and arrivals zone. It was last renovated in 2009. Today, Pulkovo II is used as a second-hand terminal for government officials and VIP members. Pulkovo I This terminal is 43,000 m². It served as the main terminal for over 30 years. Pulkovo I was built for 6,500,000 passengers annually, but by 2008 it surpassed its maximum capacity. Today Pulkovo I is under a major reconstruction. This terminal is planned to be used as the domestic transit departure zone. The zone is planned to have several duty-free shops, restaurants, and 6 jet bridges. When Pulkovo I is completed, Pulkovo Airport's capacity will increase to 17 million passengers annually. Reconstruction of Pulkovo I is scheduled for completion at the end of 2015, but it was already finished in the end of 2014. Now renewed Terminal 1 is using for the domestic flights. Terminal 1 Construction of Terminal 1 was delayed several times and began in 2010. In November 2013, the airport was tested for errors by over 5,200 residents of Saint Petersburg who partook in the process. Several days after the testings the new Terminal 1 opened on December 3, 2013. On February 14, 2014, all operations were consolidated into the new terminal as the old Pulkovo I and Pulkovo II terminals have been shut down. The new terminal contains several business lounges, restaurants, pharmacies, and an Irish pub. Terminal 1 is 147,000 m² and has 400,000 m² airport dock in front of it. The airport has 88 check-in counters, 110 passport booths, 7 baggage carousels, 110 parking stands, 17 gates, and 17 escalators. The interior of the new airport was designed by Grimshaw Architects and directly correlates with the designs and style of St. Petersburg city. The new terminal also sought many artistic sculptures and paintings to give a sense of thriving culture to passengers. 4 sculptures from Dmitry Shurin's project named I Believe in Angels decorate the departure hall. Airlines and destinations. Passenger cargo. Statistics. Ground transportation, Marshrutka minibuses are K39 run on several lines, some of them following the city bus routes. Pulkovo Airport is served by the shuttle buses, A-39 and A-39A. They are connecting the airport with metro station Moskovskaya on line M2. Railroad station Th Airport in 15 minutes walk from the Terminal 1. For private car travel, Pulkovo Airport is accessible via the nearby Pulkovo Highway from St. Petersburg city center. There are drop-offs and pick-up areas at both terminals, as well as short and long-stay outdoor car parking. Accidents and incidents: April 27, 1974, an Ilyushin Il-18V passenger aircraft of Aeroflot flying to Krasnodar crashed right after takeoff from Pulkovo after engine fire. All 108 passengers and 10 members of crew died. June 26, 1991, an Antonov An-24 cargo aircraft of the AKF Polet Company heading to Voronezh crashed in the Gulf of Finland 5 minutes after takeoff from Pulkovo. All 10 people on board died. August 22, 2006, a Tupolev Tu-154M passenger flight of Pulkovo Aviation Enterprise from Anapa to Pulkovo crashed in Ukraine. All 160 passengers and 10 members of crew died. See Pulkovo Airlines Flight 612. For a more comprehensive list, see Aviation Safety Network entry for LED. See also: List of the busiest airports in Russia, List of the busiest airports in the former USSR, List of the busiest airports in Europe. References. External links: Official site, Rossiya Airlines, current weather for ULLI at NOAA NWS, accident history for LED at Aviation Safety Network.